Hi guys, I'm Catch Queen, and today I'm back with yet another video, and in this one I'm going to talk about the addiction of cross-dressing. Now, and I am already having trouble with one of my lashes. Yeah, that's one of my cross-dressing Achilles heels. I always have problems with my lashes, but I love them nonetheless, so yeah, can't live with them, can't live without them. So I've always found cross-dressing quite addictive because over time it has baked itself into the very fibers of my being, becoming a part of who I am. So yes, indeed, I guess that gives me the right to consider it quite addictive. People get hooked on cross-dressing for various reasons, and they experience various triggers, mostly as children. So some of them get hooked on some of them see famous people on screen that they really like and identify with, women, of course. Others, you know, maybe they experience cross-dressing in a different form, see a classmate or somebody wearing a specific type of clothing and develop a desire to put on those same clothes. For me, my cross-dressing trigger has been a what-if thing. So I've always been bullied for being a feminine kid, and as I've told you in my other videos, and indeed I have always been quite feminine. Having been bullied for it, it just sort of made me think, what if instead of always running from my femininity, I embrace it instead? And here I am. So one of the reasons why I found cross-dressing addictive is that it constantly urges me to keep in shape, to keep fit, to work out, and that I love to do. So yeah, that's reason number one. Another reason is that it feeds the narcissist in me. Now, narcissism and cross-dressing are quite intertwined as far as I'm concerned. I am planning on making another video on that because I do believe that it deserves a separate video in and of itself, talking about this aspect of my cross-dressing experience. About the narcissistic side of cross-dressing, yeah, it too has to do with addiction, I believe. And it is definitely there. Narcissism and cross-dressing, they, in my case at least, and in my experience, they go hand in hand. And, well, yeah, you kind of, they don't have to. I mean, cross-dressing is all about, sort of metamorphosizing into the person that you feel you are inside. And it's all about looks. It's all about loving the look that you generate. So it is kind of like being in love with yourself to a degree. So narcissism is definitely part of the picture, and which is the reason why I decided to dedicate an entire video to it. So be on the lookout for that one. I haven't yet shot that video, but I will, and I will post it here on my channel. And thirdly, I find cross-dressing addictive because it allows me to showcase the real me, a side of me that's always been there and that will always be there, and that although many people who surround me, many of my friends know about it, many of the people that I interact with on a daily basis don't. So yeah, there is that aspect as well. When we talk about cross-dressing being addictive, we tend to talk about the negative aspects of this addiction, of course. An addictive aspect that is akin to porn addiction is unfortunately part of the package as well. I have personally experienced this side of cross-dressing addiction, and it is a dark one, and yeah, it's one that you have to be on the lookout for because it can be quite destructive. There is obviously an erotic side to cross-dressing addiction as well, and if you happen to fall into its trap, you get stuck in a sort of addictive back corner akin to porn addiction, and that is definitely something you would want to avoid. I've had my personal brush with this aspect of cross-dressing addiction, and it was not a nice one, not a good place, and it kills your productivity and makes you unable to live a full life in its extreme forms. Now, I've never actually wandered onto its extreme side, but I did have a few unpleasant experiences with it. Let me just leave it at that. Another negative aspect of cross-dressing is when it triggers guilt. Now, guilt triggers a sort of downward spiral of purging your cross-dressing paraphernalia and then rebuying the whole stuff and sort of hoarding again. So it's a spiral of purging and hoarding, and it's a guilt-laden spiral as well, so that's not a good place to be either. So from what I read and my own experience, these are some of the addictive aspects of crossdressing. Let me know in the comments if you can think of anything else. I bet that you can. There are crossdressers out there, much more beautiful, older, and much more experienced than myself, and who live this lifestyle on a totally different level of intensity, and they have a heck of a lot of feedback, much more feedback to provide on this subject than I do. At least that's what I imagine. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Try to keep it short again. If you like my video, you know, hit that like button, you know the drill. And if you deem it worthy of your time, subscribe to my channel. But yeah, I can't promise you that I'm going to deliver action-laden content because by action-laden content I mean going out and you know, mingling with the masses while cross-dressed and femme. But I am going to try my best, and if you're interested in my cross-dressing journey, well, this is the place to check it out. See you around. Hasta luego.